Hi, my name's Kirsty and I study history. Today I'm going to show you around the University of Chester's Parkgate Road campus. Come and have a look around. Parkgate Road is where you'll find many of the university's central facilities, with the main library, sports facilities, student accommodation and the Students' Union all located on campus. It's everything you need, all in one place. In the centre of Binks you'll find our info point, filled with approachable staff here to offer you help and guidance whenever you need it. We also have our brasserie and grab-and-go Starbucks, perfect for that time you want to take a break. Next we'll head on over to the library. Seabourn Library is the main university's library and it is in the heart of the Parkgate Road campus. As well as a variety of books, journals and online resources, the library also offers bookable study pods, perfect for group or individual study. There's also 24-hour access computer suites, perfect for those late-night study sessions. The library is also staffed with subject-specific librarians that are on hand to help with whatever you need. There's also a cafe downstairs, ideal for that well-earned study break. Opposite the library, we have bookable study spaces available for both staff and students. You just book it online and then you have a guaranteed workspace. Parkgate Road has many sports facilities on campus. This is the fitness suite where there are qualified personal trainers here to offer you help and guidance whenever you need it. We have a variety of different membership options available to suit all sorts of different lifestyles and budgets. The fitness suite has over 100 pieces of equipment and is also where you'll find our 25-metre swimming pool, spin studio and dance studio. At the bottom of our campus, you'll find a multifunctional sports hall that staff and students can alter the space of depending on the type of sport they want to play. Near to the sports hall, we have the floodlit AstroTurf, used frequently by our sports teams for sports such as hockey or lacrosse. We also have a floodlit 3G mugger pitch, which is great for sports such as football or rugby. Next to this, we have the 60-metre running tracks and both tennis and squash courts. And finally, our Parkgate Road campus is home to the Careers and Employability Department. They are on hand to give you help with your career planning, whether that's mock interviews or looking over your CV. It's for people that are currently here or graduates for up to 2 years after graduation. Thank you for joining me on this tour around Parkgate Road campus. We hope to see you soon.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I am Nobin Noman. I'm from EN Global Education. As you know, we have branches in many different countries. We also have branches in Dhaka, Sylhet, and alongside with that, we also have branches in UK, Pakistan, and Nigeria. We are very delighted to have our guest, Tasmina Chowdhury. She is in charge for international students for University of Chester. The University of Chester is one of the best renowned partner. We are very happy to have you, Apu. Welcome to the live session. If you could give us some brief about the history of the University of Chester for our upcoming students, please.
Thank you, Naveen Bhai, for having me. I'm happy to be here so that we can share some information about the university to all our prospective students. Hi, everyone. I am Tasmina. So I'm the country manager for Bangladesh at the University of Chester. The University of Chester is a public university. It is one of the oldest higher education institute in the UK. It was established in 1839, started off as a teachers training institute, and later it gained full university status. At the moment, we have over 15,000 plus students at the university from across 130 countries. So it's a proper mix of international and domestic students, so that students get the best out of their experience in Chester.
Thank you. And What about the location about the Chester University?
So
How
we are
far
located.
roughly it is from London or from any main city?
Yeah, so we are located in the northwest of England, in the city of Chester. So from Manchester and Liverpool, we are about 40 to 45 minutes, and 2 hours by train
Okay.
from London. So it's very aptly located. If we have any students who are joining us, they would most majorly come into the Manchester airport. It takes them like a quick 45 minutes ride from there. You could also come into London, and they take the 2 hours train from there. So location wise, it is in a very good place for students to travel to and from.
Okay, that's interesting. So it is outside of London. So for a student who is interested to locate outside of London, Chester could be a good place. And there is always a benefit when you outside of London. It is a different community, and the job competition could be a little bit lesser than London, as you know. If you can compare Dhaka with different cities, like, you know, so some it's not all of the students will be interested in London. Some of them they prefer a different city. So Chester could be a great place, I guess. Yeah, for the study and also for the part-time job. Yeah. And what about the subject you offer? Obviously, you have undergraduate and master. So if you
Right.
can just give us some brief about the subject,
So
so our students.
we do have different levels of study. I think we'll speak about that further down the line. In terms of subjects, we have various schools of teachings. I mean, I'm probably going to highlight the most popular ones in
Mhm.
terms of which Bangladeshi students would mostly come to, which is our School of Business, Engineering, Computer Sciences, Law, Medical and Life Sciences, Health and Social Science, Mathematics, Arts and Design, Education. So essentially, there's programs for
Everything.
anyone,
Yeah.
everyone, to be honest. So
Mhm.
we will be definitely able to fit you into one of our programs, because under these schools, of course, we provide various types of mix of programs, either if it's business or computer sciences. In our postgraduate level, we have also introduced 2 year programs now, which has been we've had a very good response to that as well. So depending on the students' choice, they can always come into the 1 years or the 2 year programs with us as well.
And for so that means you cover almost all subjects, and especially for the medical, it is very renowned. I heard Chester is very popular for health, nursing, and medical.
Right. Yeah,
Is that right?
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's correct. We have probably been placed as one of the top choice for Bangladeshi students who
Mhm.
are coming from maybe like an MBBS or a health related background,
Okay.
because we have like a suite of almost 10 to 15 types of medicine related medical and health sciences program, be it our MPH, oncology, hematology. So a lot of MSc
Mhm.
programs which MBBS or health related students would want to go into.
And is there any internship facilities for medical insurance down the line
Um,
while they're
uh,
studying?
Not specifically embedded in the program, but the program is such
Okay.
that within the programs itself, the students will be taught by a lot of our visiting lecturers who come from associated hospitals. There is
Of
Chester
course. Yeah.
County Hospital, which is just beside the University of Chester. We have association with them as well. So a lot of our students, in fact, do part-time work there as well as they're studying with us. So because they have a medical background, it probably helps them to get some sort of work experience as they're working there. Of course, they will not be able to work in a practice capacity, but then working in that
Mhm.
health background does allow them to gather some sort of
It is. It
experience.
is beneficial, of course. Yeah.
The added benefit, like I mentioned, is because we get a lot of visiting professors from a big NHS hospitals. That is a very good
Mhm.
exposure for all the students to build network for then their future after what they want to do after their MSc.
Of course, if they get some experience from renowned hospital, that is a like, you
Great.
know, it's a plus for their CV after their
Mhm.
graduation,
Mhm.
which will allow them to find a job somewhere else. Yeah, yeah. And I guess it's not only for medical students, also for the business and IT. They probably have a job expo because it's a government university. So
Yeah.
I think there is a job expo
For
arranged
the
by the
business
university,
and
right?
IT or
Yeah.
computer sciences, engineering, in fact, we have a 2-year program, like I mentioned a bit. So
Mhm.
for the 2-year bachelor's, undergraduate, postgraduate program, pardon, students can do the first year of teaching. Second year, they can choose to do a placement or a project work. So when you ask if there's internship available, these are the programs which are specifically business, computer sciences, and engineering. In these three schools, we have 2-year programs where student can choose to have an internship along with their main year of study. So
Mhm.
that's a 2-year program that they can choose.
Yeah, it's interesting. So our counselor in Ian Global,
Yeah.
I'm just speaking for the students. So if you think of like you're not sure which subject to pick and like what subject will have work placement or things like that, our counselors are very senior and well skilled, so they can guide you. They can navigate you what subject will be available, what would suit you, like alongside with Tasmina as well. So, what about the tuition fees? Like, let's say for undergraduate and for masters, roughly. I know it varies from subject to subject, but like
Yes. So
approximately
if I
how
were
much
to
would it
speak,
be?
sort of session wise, as you know, we have three major intakes. So just to give everyone an idea, we have a September intake, we have a January intake, and then we have a May intake. So that's what an academic year consists of. Our next academic year, next intake is in May 2025, for which we will
Oh,
have
yeah.
business programs, PG programs. For that, the tuition fee will be, if you're coming on to any of our MSc business programs, it will be 14,750 pounds. If you're coming on to one of our MBA programs, it's going to be 14,950 pounds. This is for just
Mhm.
1 year of study. If you choose to go for a 2-year program, on the second year, you just have to pay a minimum amount of 2,750, which is, I think, about 10% of the headline tuition fee. With that, you can do a full second year as well. Now, that's the tuition fee for me. For the September intake, because that's a new academic year, there's, of course, as you know, a bit of revision on tuition fees as well. For example, if you're coming on to our foundation program, the tuition fee will be £10,750. If you're coming on to our undergraduate program, which is of 3 years of study, it's £14,450. If you're coming on to MSc, it's going to be £15,000, and if you're coming on to an MBA program, it's £15,200. Of course, there are scholarships on these levels as well, and we will speak about it down the line. And with the scholarship, then you will know how much your actual payable tuition fee is. We are probably one of those few universities still in the UK where, with our current ranking, we can offer you a degree, well under £15,000.
That's very interesting. So, like those of you, let's say, missed January intake or even February, they can look into May intake, which you just mentioned. So, like again, you can call us. So we'll guide you through everything, how to apply, how to prepare the documentation, visa requirement, documentation, interview preparation. In Indian Global, we have various different departments. We don't just help you to get admission. We provide the full package, and everything is free of charge. So we help you to choose the subject. We help you to apply, getting the offer letter. We help you to prepare the documentation alongside with the medical and interview preparation as well. We have few different departments. Each department work have their own responsibility. Let's say compliance will look after your compliance, application team will look after. So we are not just a small firm that will leave you behind. We go alongside with you until your visa approval. So just coming back to the fee, if you can just give us some idea about scholarship, please. How much scholarship student can expect, you think, for undergraduate or masters?
Yeah. So again, I will speak by sessions because, from one session
Yeah,
to another, there are sometimes some
yeah.
adjustments. So our coming intake, which
Mhm.
is the May intake, in the May intake, if you're coming to one of our MSc or an MBA program, you will get a scholarship of £1,500 on application, so that's guaranteed. If you meet our entry requirement, you will get that scholarship. On top of that, we also have £1,000 merit-based scholarship. So if you have certain result criteria, which is like an internal criteria that we have, if you meet that requirement, then you will get the additional £1,000 as well. So a possibility of getting £2,500, which I believe brings your tuition fee down to 12,500 or 700. Relatively affordable.
And that's for masters, yeah.
Correct.
That's for masters,
Masters.
which
And
is very good. Yeah.
Yes, correct. That's what I'm saying. That
Compared
it's not
to the degree.
yes.
Yeah.
Compared to the degree, the level of studies that you will be doing.
Yeah.
For undergraduate, the scholarship is total £2,000, so £1,000 guaranteed on application, which means if you have an offer, if you meet the requirement, then you will get the guaranteed £1,000. The other 1,000 is based on merit. So simply, if I explain, if you have 4.5 in your undergraduate, you will get £1,000 scholarship. If you have 5, then you will have another additional £1,000. Now, the interesting thing, Naveen bhai, is that our scholarship, and I feel like this is a good USP, is that it's a rollover scholarship. We will not just give you this in the first year, you will get it in second year and third year as well. So whatever tuition fee you pay in year 1, your tuition fee is locked. That is what you will pay in year 2 and year 3 as well.
Okay, not many university offer that. Yeah, that's interesting.
Right. So in essentially, it's a £6,000 scholarship for the whole duration of your study for your undergraduate.
Yeah. Which is great, yeah, of course. And what about the documentation, the requirement student will be needing, I think, for the visa requirement, or just any idea? Obviously, we will guide all the students, the full requirement, but from the university, what is your advice for the students?
So as 𝐸 Global being our partner, of course, the application will come through you. Just to give an idea to student how it works, there is what we call an AIMS portal. It's an online portal the student will also have access to. So there's full transparency on what our partner agency is doing, how they're proceeding with your application. At the initial phase, there is an application form that needs to be filled. There's no cost attached to that. Along with that, you must upload your academic results. So it could be your transcript, it could be your certificate, along with that, because that's what we majorly need in the first instance to give you an offer. Along with that, you can upload your English language results if you have already done so. You can upload, what we require is an SOP, your academic reference and work reference if you have relevant gap. Now, a lot of times students get confused that do I need to have English language result ready to make an application? You don't need that. You could always lodge the application and we will give you a conditional offer based on your academic result. There will be a certain deadline within which you need to submit all the other relevant documents. So I always suggest students to get ahead of the queue and submit their application, so that don't wait till the end to do everything in a rush. So these are majorly all the documents that we require. General set of documents. Now, once the student has submitted their applications, while assessing, there might be some, profile to profile specific requirements that we have. We will contact the student as and when, we work with their application.
So I think you cover entry requirement. What about the entry requirement for undergraduate or for masters for Bangladeshi students, so that they have a clear concept?
All our levels of entry, so that will be probably easy to understand. So we start off with the foundation level. We have our own foundation programs that we deliver. These programs can be done as a 1-year foundation program, or it could be done in combination, like a foundation year followed by our bachelor's program. If you're coming on to our foundation program, we require you to have overall 4. So this is essentially for those students who don't have the required undergraduate requirements. So if you have 4 in your HSC, then you can join our foundation program. Now, if you're coming on to one of the pathways like life sciences, law, business, then you additionally need to have 2.75 in maths as well. This is for your foundation program. Now, for your undergrad, the requirement is 4.5 in your HSC. That will give you direct entry to the undergraduate program. If there is any specific subject required, for example, there are some science-related programs which might need to have maths, physics, or chemistry. In that case, you need to have the 3.5 in that subject as well, which is like an equivalent. Now, coming on to the a PG requirement, postgraduate requirement, you will need to have come from like a 4 years bachelor's. I'm afraid we do not accept 3 years pass course. I'm seeing some comments here as we are talking also, but I'm afraid we don't accept 3 years pass course. It needs to be a full 4 years bachelor's. You need to have 2.75 in that, and if you come with that result, you will get an offer. Now, there are a handful of universities like North South Bragg, some list of universities from which we accept 2.5 as well. But the major requirement of the major set of universities is 2.75. 75. That is the academic requirement. Now, if I talk about the English language requirement, in that case, for foundation program, we require students to have foundation UKVI IELTS. For undergraduate, we accept all sorts of IELTS. It could be UKVI or academic.
Yeah.
And many other English language tests. So the requirement is overall 6, no band below 5.5 for our
That's for
UG.
undergraduate. That's for
That's for
undergraduate. Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
For
Yeah.
postgraduate, we require 6.5, no band below 5.5. So that's for postgraduate. Now, one thing I want to mention here is that for postgraduate, there are few programs, very far and few. Like we have a program like retail and fashion marketing, education leadership, some programs like these, we require slightly lower IELTS. So in these programs, we accept with 6, 5.5 in each band as well.
And for even for medical, 5.5 is still
For
enough.
medical, 6.5 and each 5.5. Now, the good thing about medical students is that for medical students, we accept something called OET. So OET is a test that mostly medical students tend to give because they do PLAB tests and all these tests in the UK. So I think we're one of the few universities that also accepts OET. So if they have given that test, then that's fine as well.
Mhm. No, that's interesting. 5.5 is a good note for students here. And what about the offer letter turnaround time when we submit, let's say, application for a student? How
Usually
many
it
days
takes
can
5
we
to
expect?
7 working days.
Okay.
5 to 7 working days to revert. Of course, I will be very honest in saying that sometimes it also depends on the time period that you're applying. For example, if you're applying for a September intake, which we have already opened for now, right now we are getting a turnaround of sometimes 24 to 48 hours because we're just getting the applications coming in. But after June, it gets very, very busy. Volume is very high. So sometimes during that time, the turnaround time can take up to 8 to 10 days. So that is why I suggest students that if you have your documents in hand, please submit your applications as soon as you get.
Apply as soon as possible. Yeah.
Right. Whether you come or not, you can always make that decision. But there is no harm in holding the offer. I mean, it's free of cost. You can just apply online. Just make the application, hold the offer, then you can decide whether you want to, move ahead with it or not.
Of course, so the students can talk to us, send us their documentation via WhatsApp or whatever way you prefer. Like we can apply for you and hold the offer letter as soon as possible, and then you can decide whether you want to go ahead or not. Like of course, what about the accommodation facility if they go to the university campus? Do they have any in-house accommodation facility for international students, or do they need to? Obviously, they
We
can stay outside of the university, but yeah.
Well, we do have a lot of accommodation for international students in and around the campus. It's mostly guaranteed for our foundation and undergraduate students if they, of course, apply within the given deadline. Postgraduate students, of course, we have accommodation, but sometimes it's subject to availability. But for undergraduate and foundation program, it's guaranteed 100% given that you apply within the deadline. Now, these can range from £100 per week starting to 150, 200 depending on the type of accommodation you're choosing. So there is shared accommodation, there's ensuite accommodation, there's studio
Single
apartments.
room or
What
something.
your budget is, you can always choose like that.
Yeah, the good thing about Chester is it is outside of London, so
Correct.
like the living cost would be reasonably cheaper than London, so it is a good option for the students, even for the transportation, for part-time job, things like that. Using their student ID card, they can get a student discount on transportation. So this is a great help because it is a inflation anyway, not only UK or Bangladesh, it's all over the world. So these are all value-added service from the university. And since it is a public university, I think the employment ratio is very high because of the reputation, and obviously it is a government funded university. So I assume the big top companies, they're always looking into hire graduates from Chester. So if you can give us some idea about the students
So if I were to,
post-study
give you
career,
like
like, yeah,
details or information, then our employment rate,
rate, yeah.
92% of our recent graduates have either moved on to further education or employment. So that's the percentage of students who have then further proceeded to employment or education. We have what we call a career and a development department that helps students, to prep them for future jobs. They will do mock interviews with you, help you write CVs, and our career and development department has also got a very good rating in the Northwest, in a lot of voting. So in terms of employability, most of our students would go into employment 6 to 7 months after they have graduated, either whether in the UK or if they've come back in the home country as well. And with the post-study work visas, students are able to take advantage of that as well now. So once they've finished either their undergraduate or their postgraduate, they have a good amount of time to secure, preferable jobs, look for it themselves. We have contact with national, international employers. We hold fairs and events where we put them in touch with potential employers. Then, of course, it's the student's responsibility to crack the interview or get the job. But we try to facilitate the student as much as possible so that they can take that step further after they finish their studies.
The good thing about UK is, like, all the international company, most of them, the head office based in UK. Like, they are operating from UK. They are managing the whole European market. So there is always a higher chance for students to get a study related job and proceed further. Yeah, that is interesting. And what about the student union or any other service there for just to support for the students? Uh,
So when a student comes into Chester, of course, and something that I urge them to do, I mean, I was already spoken about the career and development department. Apart from them, we have a Chester student union that helps students with any needs they have, apart from maybe their studies and education, any problems they might be having. We have a study skills department as well that helps students to sort of, if they're having any issues with their studies. As you know, when you're going from Bangladesh, has a different setup of how things are being taught, and it might be a bit different once they are in the UK. So if you're having any trouble adjusting with your studies, we have the study skill department who will help you. Of course, we have 24/7 library facilities, there's gym facilities, sports. There are a lot of social clubs and activities that you can get involved into. So apart from your education, there are a lot of other activities. For example, we provide computer lessons free for students, which is a European sort of, it's a certification that would otherwise cost you a lot if you were to do it
mhm.
yourself. So we have a lot of these additional skills that student can gain for free when they're at the university. Student union support is also there. So I always hope and urge students to take advantage of these things as well while you're at the university.
Obviously, you have alongside with all those additional activities. If somebody interested in sports or something, obviously you have a big campus. We haven't mentioned about large campuses of Chester. So if you want to say something about, because
Yeah.
it's a government public, we have to remember, like, anywhere you go, especially if it's a public university, they have a huge campus, like not only one or two, they have massive, more than one campus. It's like, they have the sports service and everything. So you don't just study, you enjoy the life there as well. If you want to get involved in sports or spending time outside, it is very, very interesting studying in public university.
So at the moment at University of Chester, we have campuses in and around Chester itself. So in the city of Chester, we have our main
Mhm.
campus, which is our Exton Park campus, which is the one that was shown in the video. That is a very big campus. We have another Parkgate Road campus, which is just for. We have Queens Park campus, which is for business programs only. Again, within Chester, we have another different campus for our MPH and health sciences program. We also have a campus in the city of Warrington, which is about like 40 minutes from Chester. So some programs are being taught there. We are in preparation of opening like a small campus as well in Liverpool to run some of our business programs as well. So location wise, students can, will be very aptly located in terms of how big our campuses are, what facilities we provide. And also something that you mentioned about living outside of London in a place like Chester, where everything is in walking distance from your campus. So be it your
Mhm.
accommodation, be it your groceries, or transportation that you need, if you are studying in a place like the city of Chester, where everything is accessible, it saves you a lot of cost and time as well. So of course, definitely you will have a wholesome experience of studying in a big campus with so many international students. It will also save you a lot of cost and time, if you're joining a university like this.
Oh, it is interesting. So, for those students who would like to apply for May intake, I think this is the good time to apply so you can prepare your documentation a little bit earlier so then you don't get a panic for the last minute, you know. Once you submit your documentation, Ian Global can help you to get the offer letter and assess your application, help you with everything. And then once your visa approved, hopefully you can fly before your class starts so you can get familiar with the cultures and everything. It is always better to go little bit earlier than the last minute because it's a new country for, especially for Bangladeshi student, it's altogether a different culture, a different country. Sometimes it could be challenging to get used to with the weather, accent, and everything. So it's better to go earlier than later. We would like to take some questions if there is anything. So Tasmina, who can help us with this?
um,
See if there's any question.
I'll probably start from the top. I think I probably did address a few of these things. Tasnia is asking if you accept a 3-year pass course. I'm afraid not. You will have to have a 4 years bachelor's. However, if you have a 3-year pass course program and then you do like 1 year master's, then you can come on to another master's program with us if that is a good, academic progression. But in order to come to a master's program, you need to have a 4-year bachelor's degree. What is the minimum IELTS requirement for LLM? Now, for LLM, the minimum IELTS requirement is about 6.5, no band below 5.5. So for LLM, we have two routes in our LLM program. We have a business LLM as well. So you can either choose our contemporary LLM or the business LLM. For both, we require 6.5. Halima is asking, do you accept how many years gap for UG and PG students? Oh, not, I think that's a good question. We probably didn't get to address this. In terms of year gap, for undergraduate, we accept up to 5 year study gap with relevant work experience, evidence, or relevant evidence of the gap why you've had a gap. For PG, we accept up to 10 year study gap, again, with relevant supporting evidence of either work or why you have been out of work. It has to be something substantial, and of course, most likely it has to be work most of the time. Um, Repa is asking how long is the offer turnover time. I think we've already discussed the offer turnover time is 5 to
That's right.
um, working days, depending, of course, on the time that you apply for. I have one question. Do you accept MY from Bangladesh University? I know this is a request that a lot of students do make, but at the moment, unfortunately, we're not accepting MY. We feel that students who have IELTS or are taking one of these, administered tests tend to do academically, well in the university once we've joined. So we've actually kept it to that. Do you accept previous student visa refusal? Um, we do accept student visa refusal depending on what your refusal was on, like what grounds the refusal was on. Now we would like your refusal to be probably a year back. If you've just had a recent refusal, a lot of times, even if we as a university were to give you the offer, you might not have a successful visa outcome because the visa officer might feel that you already had a visa rejection. You might not get the visa now. So I think at least needs to be a year gap between your previous visa refusal and the grounds is very important. If it's in financial grounds, for example, if you had a visa rejection on financial grounds, I'm pretty sure within 3-4 months your financial situation is not going to change so much that you will be able to apply for different universities. If it's in a genuine intention ground, then that's fine. We would accept that. Um, yes. For undergraduate, 5 years. For postgraduate, 10 years. You have to provide relevant work experience. I'm afraid not. We need to have 4 years a study gap. We don't accept. Oh, sorry, we need to have 4 years bachelor. Are you offering any bachelor course? No, our bachelor course is in September. So in April and May, we only provide business postgraduate programs. Do you have MRes course? What is the requirement? Do you need research proposal? Yes, we do have a set of masters by research programs, and that does require you to submit like a basic proposal. It doesn't have to be something too big. It's more like an abstract or like a synopsis. You submit that along with your academic results. We forward it to the relevant academics or a professor, and if it suits one of their research areas, they will then definitely get back to you. Do you have any airport pickup facility? I wouldn't. We did have one before previously, but now it's not a facility that we are providing. However, if you require us to put you in touch with one of the pickup services, we then send you a form which you can fill up and then submit to the pickup facility like 𝐿𝐶𝐶 and all these facilities, and then they will pick you up from the airport. So we can assist you in arranging this pickup prior to your arrival. Yes, 5 year study gap is accepted, Sadman, 5 year study gap, but you have to show work experience or relevant supporting documents to justify the gap. That was it.
Oh, that's good. Obviously, we won't be able to answer all the questions with the limited time. That's why we are here at the Young Global. We can help you answering all those questions. Feel free to reach us via our social media. Our office is opposite to Abohani Club, which is in Dhanmondi, most of you know. We also have a branch in Sylhet. Well, we have two branches in Sylhet. So feel free to join us, visit us, and discuss. Our counselors are well skilled. They're all British Council trained. We all have certificates and also feel free to join us. We'll welcome you in N Global family. We'll guide you and we'll help you to achieve your destination. Thank you so much, Tasmina, for your precious time. I hope you'll have a lovely evening. Thank you all. And goodbye. Goodbye to everyone. Thank you for
Thank you.
watching. Take care. Talk to you soon.